When did you first meet Mr. Werritty?
I first met him in April of 2011 at a meeting in the Shangri-La for about an hour in the lobby.
Was that a chance meeting?
No, it was pre-planned. It was organised by a political lobbying group in London called Tetra Strategy. They knew Adam and had offered him as a meeting for me. He was offered up as a special advisor to Dr. Liam Fox, and would be helpful for me to meet with him. And so I organised the meeting when he arrived into Dubai in the Shangri-La. I had about an hour with him.
And did you get the impression that he was a man that you could do business with, and that he had the ear of the Defence Secretary?
Well, absolutely, in regard of his ear to the Defence Secretary. I mean, he was presented to me through Tetra as a special advisor to Dr. Fox. He presented himself as an advisor to Dr. Fox. You know, I had a meeting where he was absolutely engaged on the topics I was discussing with him, and at the end of the meeting, Fox walked through the lobby and I shook him by the hand, a quick handshake introduction, and so for me, without doubt, he was, what he said he was on his card, an advisor to Dr. Fox.
Did money pass hands for that meeting?
No, it didn't, and you wouldn't have expected it to. I mean, you don't pay advisors to government ministers, so the topic of money never came up at all. With hindsight, it does beg the question how he is paid, but certainly there was no suggestion of money from his side to my, or from me.
Yeah, but presumably you pay the PR company to facilitate a meeting with someone who you thought was a special advisor to the Secretary of State for Defence.
Well, I paid them for political lobbying. I was in litigation with 3M, and I was fighting a case with the Ministry of Defence, or one of their subsidiaries. And because of the UK taxpayer implications, we decided to hire a political lobbyist to help us with, government relations and media relations. We're not experts in that; they were, and so I put them on retainer for a period of time to help guide me through that process.
And did you know of Werritty beforehand?
No, I didn't. I hadn't come across him at all.
Was there anything in his demeanour that suggested he wasn't a special advisor and was just a good friend?
No, absolutely not. I mean, we discussed topics of relevance to the UK Ministry of Defence. One was a voice encryption technology for welfare calling for UK troops overseas, and the other was a bit of litigation where I am the co-claimant with an entity that is owned by the Ministry of Defence. So absolutely, it was MOD business that we were there discussing. So no hint that he wasn't anything other than what he said he was at the outset.
If you had known that he wasn't a special advisor, would it have been appropriate for you to be having that conversation, in the sense that, presumably some of this technology you're discussing about the encryption of calls so that soldiers can ring families at home from Afghanistan without fear of being targeted by the Taliban, that's presumably quite sensitive stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if I'd known that he wasn't a part of the Ministry of Defence, then the meeting would have probably never happened in the first place, to be very honest. But certainly the discussion topics, are sensitive. It's not right to say that they are classified. That's a technical term defined by UK government, but they are very sensitive. The technology has enormous capability. It operationally secures voice communications. We have a number of sensitive customers that we do not talk about. It wouldn't have been appropriate to have had that level and detail level of conversation with somebody who was, not a government employee.